Welcome to Groundwork by Red Mountain, where we're going to learn about rules, few and clear. Here, we empower people to understand their behaviors, build emotional resilience, and develop tools to create a lasting change. Are you losing opportunities with people because you're burning others out? Are you being told you are too rigid? Are people uncomfortable around you or being inauthentic? By the time you're done here, you're going to have a new relationship with rules and know how to apply them and to avoid a hard life through having few rules. Just a thing to remember, it just takes one incongruent rule or one incongruent thought that inflames to become a full-blown depression or anxiety if it's exacerbated, if it's acted on, if it's enhanced, if it's inflamed. So we'll talk about the theory of moral development today, which is by Dr. Lawrence Kohlberg. Dr. Lawrence Kohlberg had this wonderful idea to find out what it was that made people follow rules. So he asked this question. You've got somebody that you love more than life itself, and they're dying. And the medication behind the pharmacy table is not affordable by any means. Say it's $1,000. And you have to make a decision between saving your loved one and breaking the law, and going to get the medication. So, what do you do? And what are your reasons for making a decision about what you do? Here are some of the answers other people said. I can't break rules. They'd say, if you paid me, I could go get the meds for her. Everyone should have free medicine. I'd break in and I'd knock out all the pharmacists. These are random answers from multiple people that were given this question. Why help if it doesn't do anything for me? I'd break in, save her life, and then I'd pay him back later. What did you think about that when you heard it? Did you have a different answer? So, Kohlberg's theory of moral development categorized people based on their thinking. Why did they think of following the rules? And there were 6 categories, but really going to make them 3. And there were level ones, which he called pre-conventional. And the reasons that they would follow the rules would be because the crime was going to cause them great pain. They would go to jail. And the other reason is because there was something in it for them. For level twos, their thinking was that they had to please other people and what would others think of them. And there was a lot of that. And then the other reason they had is that the rules are the rules are the rules, and that's why we follow rules. And the third group, they're more abstract thinkers. They would question, do the rules always apply? And they appreciated rules. And then the highest group, the smallest percentage of people, could actually think in terms of, I have rules. I apply my rules and my values 100% of the time, so I can consistently follow them. And my rules say this. So it might be opposed to those rules. So at its basics, someone who's pre-conventional, a little simpler, they would only respond to any rule if you make them, and they would ask themselves what's in it for them. And a conventional person, the rules of the rules person, or they'd only do it because other people did it, those individuals are conventional. Post-conventional people are the rules serve life, not the other way around type of thinking. So if we talk about, so I'm just curious what you're thinking about this, and I'd like for you to take note about what your thoughts are about this. So a healthy pre-conventional personality has a lot of traits to it. It is open, wild, free, would go think, I'm going to go break in, I'm going to take the medication. Everyone should have free medication. Maybe I'll go get the medication because I live with that person and then my rent wouldn't get paid. So I'll go break in and get the medication on that. That's the real reasoning. They can be very wild and free and like an animal on the planet. and they can live with intensity, be unfiltered, and they can have like a lot of self-focus because they're not thinking about beyond that. They can be very fun and playful, enjoyable for us to be around. They could be the life of the party, or they can just have that rebellious spirit, and they might create the fun in a room or be the one that is the natural go-getter. They also can come across as self-centered and dismissive, not be reliable. They can create a lot of conflict because their thinking comes from what their needs are, and their thinking comes from just pain. So it takes more work for other people to overcompensate for them. They have a beautiful place on this planet because they're wild like the animals, and we are wild animals, and we need to have that place for us. We need it. So the best things about being a healthy conventional person are the rules of the rules people, and also the thinking goes into like, I do what I do because other people are watching me, is that these people are the ones that are strong mentors. I met a gentleman, and he was a full-time guard dog trainer that would train those emotional support dogs, and he would do it out of the kindness of his heart. And there were a lot of him out there. He had like a whole group, and they would get veterans dogs that would save them from lots of trouble, help them do laundry. They could smell if someone had like a diabetes attack. They did amazing things. His obsession with that type of conventionalism was so good for the world. They build bridges, and they make sure that all of us conform. They keep us safe. They are reliable. They've got moral guardrails because they've been told morals. So they've got a software and they follow it consistently. And the problem with them can be sometimes is that because you're approval seeking, you're not thinking outside of the box, and you can really hurt people. So if you're told a certain group is bad, that's as far as your head goes. And in your head, the group is bad. And this can really limit things. They can also have extreme conformity and hurt people against the rules. So if someone doesn't follow the rules, they, in whatever group their thinking is, would do anything to make sure that that person follows the rules without thinking about if it's good as an outcome, because their mind goes to rigidness. And that's how our brains work. Our brains reward you for doing something consistently. So if you put a good rule in there, which is subjective, it will follow it to the T and reward you with chemistry that says, oh, that was correct, because you've practiced it. And if it's a bad rule, like even as far as like an honor killing, that's when in places of the world, someone determines, and it's often a daughter or a child or female, that she has done something offensive, gone on a date without being allowed to. So it's the right thing to do to honor kill her. So if you could that type of thinking in your head, your brain will still reward you for that if that's really in there. So you'd have to be a more complicated thinker to think that that was wrong. And thankfully, there's our post-conventional thinkers that they understand that there are rules, they respect that they're important for society, and they can see a human need around it. So it's the kind of person that you can rationalize with. And that is not everyone. It's important to understand that you cannot rationalize with most people, that they can only see to a certain limit and not beyond it. So you can drive yourself crazy hitting up against the rules because you think they're going to budge because they look like a human. So maybe a human will be compassionate, but they're not. Their software only goes to here. So you're wrong in a lot of ways because they can't think past here on their own. It's like climbing a step ladder, and they get to the end of where there's no more steps, and then they brought a situation and it's new. For them, it would be wrong because there's no step for it. There's no path. There's no plan. So a post-conventional thinker would go, oh, let's do this other thing instead. I can apply my thinking to the situation or to this unique human and do the right thing because I have a different set of morals and rules. So post-conventional thinkers, they can think of a lot of things, empathy and more people and then their own personal values. And the biggest thing about them is that they can follow rules. Level ones don't follow rules. They don't care for them. The only reason they're following them is because they could get hurt if they don't follow them. A level 3 will stop at, this is my true moral. This is my true value. And if nobody's looking, I'm not going to kill my wife. I'm not, or let her die from not giving her medicine. Even if nobody's looking, if I believe it's wrong to steal, I will not steal. And I know that what's going to come from that is she's going to pass, but it comes from me. It doesn't come from the outside. So, what percentage is each of the groups? We're looking at ones, twos, and threes. So, what do you think most people are made of when it comes to rules? So 20% of people are pre-conventional. That's the wild and freeze. And 60% of people are conventional. That's most people. Leaving 20% and arguably 15, so smaller. Some people they've studied it and they found it to be 15 to 20% can be abstract thinkers, post-conventional. The thing is that all of these have their rock, scissors, papers on each other. So the thing about ones is that they want freedom, right? We love them because they're like our young child that's adorable and whoever she is, whenever she wants to be. Or are like, even awful to explain it this way, but like a family pet. It's adorable for doing nothing all the time, and it's going to act however it wants all the time. And we love that authenticity. So the thing is, they don't understand. They do need and love and crave rules. All humans do. We have the similarities to a dog in this way. We are very sad if we are not in a pack, and we would be just like a miss. Every one of us would be a miss if we don't belong somewhere. That's how humans are. We're mammals, but we're like dogs. We like to have a rule. We do. And twos, they love to control number ones. So in number one's seeking of freedom, sometimes they can lose it because they're too uncontrolled. So number twos are there to make sure that they get in their place, and they love doing it. So while there's a fun part of mentoring and taking care of people, there's also a control factor and a significance that goes into being a number two. Number threes, their issue is their rock, scissors, paper problem is that they can be just as hedonistic as a number one if their values are very subjective. So they can have a really strong value in something, but sometimes it can be like not a good one. It doesn't think about the real big picture because the mind can go only so far, like many. So there's individuals that go to the hospital and their personal values are that they don't get blood transfusions. They believe that that's not okay. And that's their personal value. And it doesn't matter to them that the doctor has a different value. And that doesn't matter that the rules in the hospital say to give you a blood transfusion. You won't do it. But they can be sometimes misguided in that. Like, that would be something some people could disagree with. So in some ways, they can be dangerous or be too light on the number ones because the rules and conformity are needed. We have to have them for a safe society. So there'd be like a judge who you did everything to build up a strong court case against a genuine criminal that was unsafe for the community, and you put it in front of a judge, and his vision of that person is they look nice, they look like we're very polite today, he liked how they presented themselves to him, and he's going to pardon them, and that releases them into a society and they're actually dangerous. So the thinking is like this. A number three, post-conventional thinker, they can see, they can experience empathy, they can understand reasoning, abstract thought. So it's like if you're looking at this picture, this is as far as their thinking can go, quite far. Sometimes too expansive that they can't focus. But a number two, they can think of a lot of things too, but it's clear to see. So some of them can follow rules and they look like they're just the most have it together person you ever met because they can just do the same thing again and again and again. And they can, make a lot of money, or they can be really strong in their rules and their family, and they'll never miss the mark, which is great. And sometimes these thinkers lack empathy and they don't practice that extra thing, but that's who they are. So they're great at what they do. Doesn't mean that they've got the same capacity as, an abstract thinker. And then there's our level ones. The level ones are thinking about themselves. So this can cause a lot of problems. So where are your rules? Here's the thinking: too many rules equals depression and anxiety. Very few wise rules makes you the happiest. No rules, no happy. Write your rules about the role in your family. If you're a daughter, write about that. These are my rules. If you haven't had enough time, please pause me and keep going. If you've had enough time, whittle it down to 5 important rules and circle those. If you give yourself too many rules, you're going to cause yourself to be crazy. Don't do that. So please know that if you're more of a number one, number ones out there can't really see you. They're not noticing your needs. Number twos may be unable to see you. They don't have a lot of empathy. And 20% of people out there, arguably 15 to 20%, they can actually empathize and take in a new situation. No rules is the worst. If you think of countries, then there's places out like in Africa, definitely in my state of Arizona, where there's no rules. Like out on some of the areas of the reservations, they don't have infrastructure. And what happens out there is absolute chaos. Very painful, very cruel, and there's no respect for life in some areas that don't, there's not some setup of a good system going on in that particular area. But it can be really bad to have rules that are running in the wrong direction that hurt people. And because they can't see people, they can see the rule, they will cause a lot of damage. All the holy world's wars, the Nazis, the what has been done to the indigenous tribes. Those were because a rule was in place and we follow the rules. The extreme pains that have come from any war over a this is what someone was told to do, soldier had to carry it out, that's how it is. But we do it in our homes too. We have old software from our families, from wherever we were raised, that maybe is being applied incorrectly at our home. Maybe a coldness that goes into how we implement our rules, and whatever was done to you to get you to make sure that you follow the rule, maybe you're still repeating that, and it's hurting you and it's really hurting other people. And it's the reason why I've owned a rehab for many years. My rehab and all of the extremely pained, suicidal, and heartbroken, and sometimes addicted clients, they are all because of number twos. Number ones and number twos cause them to be how they are. And them not being able to, like them being judged, mistreated, all of that, that came from the conformist and the rigid, and them not ever having had rules in some situations. Many of them did have good situations, but then afterwards were kind of over rules, over shamed, told too many rules by people in their families that they were spinning, and that causes them the depressions and anxieties. You can never get up when you have so many rules that are just laying on your back. You know, they would learn things like don't like white people and don't trust men and don't trust women and don't leave this area and don't follow guidelines like that. And too many rules cause them their depressions and anxiety. And when you're not given any rules and then all of a sudden you're spinning with rules, this is too much for a human. It's like out of sync. So rules can be about control. And when is it about control for you? So memorize the body. All behavior changes start with the body. When you're feeling yourself needing control over something and you will not let go, it has a signature to it. And all you have to do is memorize that signature to know I'm in danger right now. I'm actually implementing this because my need to control. And I don't care about the outcome. I'm so focused on just hitting the mark that I'm not thinking about the outcome. It's hard for me to see a reason behind it when you're in control like that. So maybe you have like a tension. The girl in the picture, she's like, got to hold on. There's like stress. That is your need to control. And what you might do while you're in that state can really hurt someone. So memorize it and then come out of it. Like recheck in with your body, take a deep breath, and know that if you're getting to, I would do anything for control of the situation right now, that you're not helping. Take a break. So, when you're a number two in your life, so you're rule following, what what do you need to know about your ways of control? Like, what do your control motions look like? And this is important. We're goal is to think as abstractly as possible. So I want you to write down the rules you have for your family role: mother, sister, daughter, father, son. And I want you to get rid of a lot of the rules, remove them. So if you've got, like, you're the mother and that's an endless one. Other people's projections on what that should mean to you is there doesn't stop. Like, you should always be available. You should pick the kids up all the time. You should prepare 3 meals a day. You should pay half the bills. You should make sure that it's clean all the time. All of that. I just want you to write down your rules. And then I need you to remove a ton. Remember that rules that aren't making sense are causing you anxieties and depressions and completely annihilating your brain. And you pushing yourself to follow them when there's too many in there is destroying you. So knock it off. So you have to redo your rules and let go completely of the number two side of you that's just worrying about what other people think of them. Make it clean and simple. Take as much time as you need. And pause this and do that now.